I think just an abundance of talking.
Could you take stock of where you are right now, just in terms of the journey you've been to this point, where you're going from here?
You know, I think this is going to be, with the exception of Syracuse, a marathon for a lot of teams. And we're going to play moving jazz throughout the season, and this will be, as a lot of people always use the adage, it's a marathon, not a sprint. This definitely will be that. So it's certainly not easy losing 2 home games. And when you do that, you certainly put yourself in a hole, but I don't think there's any team I'd rather fight out of a hole with than this team. So that's a good thing.
How are you approaching this with the team? Russ, trying to keep it positive and so forth. How do you do that?
Well, it's not a positive and negative, Russ. It's you 1 and 2. You only played 3 games, and you got 15 more to go. You know, after we came back from St. John's, I've had a lot of good friends say, "Oh, you're in the driver's seat. You're looking great." And 2 days later, boy, we're in big trouble. You know, and I think that's what the Big East is going to be about this year. I think Pitt, Marquette, us, Villanova, we're all saying that right now, and Seton Hall, Syracuse, and West Virginia feel great. Another week could go by, and it could go the opposite way.
How do you see your offense getting better? And it seems like your offense is sort of developed as the year goes along, but what we're going to get better right now?
You know, I think I've known our problems from day one. I've said it from day one. We're going to miss Preston's shooting. There was no question about it. But we are concentrating on developing more of an inside attack. And we're starting to do a better job. Gorky got himself in a... You know, sometimes bad plays may put you in bad situations. But, you know, the referee put Gorky in a bad situation. The second foul was a phantom touch call in the game, and now he's got to sit. And that's my problem with officiating, especially in the Big East. They let so many things go, and if you look at the second foul, I don't know if you guys probably don't, some of you do who work in the studio, and you say, now you're going to put him on a bench for that. And I just hate that more than anything. I can live with a bad block charge call. I can live with, there was a push in the back late in the game and they scored. I can live with that. I just really, really hate the touch foul that puts somebody on the bench, whether it's your point guard or your center, and he had to sit the whole half because of a touch foul that wasn't even a foul. So that bothers me. We've got to keep him in the game.
Does he changes the offense for you? I mean, what is the law?
It's just that it's a significant drop-off when you have a 6'10" shot blocker back there. And it does you. But we are trying to go more inside to develop that. We're not quite the three-point threat that we once were, but you have to change.
Are you still seeing steady improvement with Gorky?
Yeah, I think Shane's making improvement. I think Gorky's making improvement. You know, and you want to see that. I think Rock's getting healthier. So you know, the front court's improving. I think steadily as the season goes along. You know, we've been working very hard on low post moves, and Shane did a very good job in the last game of getting position. You know, when we first got him, he likes to post up 7 or 8 feet off the lane, and that's in this league, that's a passing spot. We've tried to explain to him, if you want to score, you got to get yourself in the middle of the rim, and he did that in the last game.
You mentioned West Virginia, Villanova, Pitt.
Us.
Yeah, I mean, UConn lost twice last week on the road. Have those teams dropped a little, and then some of the other teams have moved up, or what's your perception of what's going on in the league?
I think somewhere in the middle, Rick, we've met each other. You know, I've said at the beginning of the year, I said the bottom has come up. You know, teams like Seton Hall and DePaul and South Florida have gotten a lot better. Rutgers has gotten a lot better, so they're no longer at the bottom. Now it's a matter of who's going to be able to handle it. Is the only difference maker I see so far in this conference is Syracuse. You know, it's evident right now that they're not only deep, talented, long, they've got experience, they got the total package. I'd say right now that they are the premier team in the country. The rest of us are trying to get to that level.
So what will separate people moving forward?
Who can take this marathon? It is going to be a grind, and I told our team, I said, look, you're going to have to be a great road team. There's no question about it. You're going to have to be a great road team, and you're capable of being a great road team. We made mistakes in both games. Georgetown beat us. We blew the Notre Dame game. I mean, we were up 4 with 1:25 to go in the game and just made very poor decisions, offensively as well as defensively, and we lost the game because of it. So now we got to win on the road.
knowing that you will take hits, and every team takes hits, I mean, how do you keep a team staying positive and moving the right way?
Well, I think you just have to look at the big picture and not, it's just like my friends. I have very close friends that, they were sky high after St. John's, and they were just devastated after Notre Dame. And I said, you guys got to realize this is a long season. I mean, unfortunately, because I've had some Februarys where we had to win 6 out of 8 on the road to make the tournament. So we just know what the Big East is all. When we joined this conference, I knew what we were getting into. Tom Jurich was all delighted because, he sits up there and enjoys himself. And while the rest of us are, going through pain every possession. He's having a nice Bud Light and enjoying himself. We're killing ourselves.
They're going to recognize you guys the 87 Final Four.
Yeah. Are you coming?
Yeah. What does that mean for you going back in?
Well, that's one of my favorite teams of all time. That team, I don't know how old I was back then. You can 27, 28, 29, 30, somewhere around there. Yeah. That team forever made me dream. And you'll talk about, the incredible comebacks we've had. It's all because of that team. I have always coached every time out, no matter how much time is left in the game, feeling we could come back, no matter what the level was, or the score was. I've always felt if we had to win 6 out of 8 games, or we were down 31, or we're down this, all because of that Providence College basketball team. Because they set the standard, not only for comebacks, but they set the standard for just making me believe anything's possible in this game. And because of that team, I've always been able to dream on the basketball court that anything's possible. Because if you would have seen this team prior to taking that job, because I always repeat it, I'll never forget it. I was sitting with Dick McGuire, God rest his soul, and Fuzzy LeBain, and I was getting ready to meet Lou Lamoriello, who's now the general manager of the Devils, at the Abbey Tavern, which is no longer there, on the street I grew up on, 26th Street on the east side. And they convinced me, after watching the 3 graduating seniors, Ray Knight, somebody else, they had really good 3 seniors left. They didn't have a double-figure scorer back. They were in dead last place since the inception of the Big East. They convinced me to stay as UB's assistant. Don't even consider taking it. You're way too smart for that. And I went down there, and I knew it. They were right. I've always listened to wiser people. I've always listened to Dick and Fuzzy all the time. And when Lou Lamoriello said to me, he said, I know it was pretty pathetic, and I know it doesn't look good in the future, but we're going to change that. We're hiring you. And I immediately had all my speech prepared to say why I couldn't take the job, and I didn't want to leave from UB, and I'm so loyal to the Knicks and so on. I had a whole speech prepared. And when he said that one line, I changed my mind and took the job. And from that point, what I witnessed with these players to what I witnessed 2 years after that, for me, has allowed me to dream, because I couldn't believe not only the transformation in the players, the attitude, the feeling of the city about a team, everything about it transformed into something that I still haven't seen the likes of. And it's nice because Doris Burke is going to do the game with my babysitter, and they requested Jeff Van Gundy to do the game as well. He was our graduate assistant. So it is great just looking at that. And I've always had that attitude. You're never out of a game. You can always win, regardless of what the score is, because of that basketball team, because they defied all logic and all odds in accomplishing what they accomplished.
Different is your philosophy with three-point shot then as today. I mean, you were the first one in. Granted, do you view that shot the same way today as you?
I do, and I sort of knew this would be the one team that wouldn't utilize it the way I've utilized it throughout my professional and collegiate coaching career. I knew this would be the one team that wouldn't use it as major a weapon as we've had in the past. And so we've recruited, and everything we're doing right now is recruiting-wise is based around that. So every person we recruit now has to be a three-point threat, and we're thinking along those lines.
How's Providence different this year under Cooley?
They're playing extremely hard. They're a year wiser. They lost their big scorer, but they had 4 people in double figures. they're, with the exception of St. John's, at St. John's, they've been in every game. They've had good road wins, you know, at Rhode Island and ACC. They played South Carolina, ACC, South Carolina, and South Carolina. And they're a dangerous team because they're very gifted 1 through 4, and they're a little small to 5, but they play everybody tough at home. It was a 2-point game at halftime against Syracuse. They beat us last year with a team not as good as this team in terms of the way they play, how hard they play.
Rick, it would seem you've got some guys on this team that can shoot it. Is it frustrating that this has not been a better 3-point shooting team?
Who is that you allude to?
Your team this
Yeah, who
year.
are you alluding to that can shoot it?
Kyle, Chris.
Well, I think Kyle's doing a good job shooting it. I think he did.
Russ in streaks.
Yeah, I think you need more than 2.5, 3 players to be a real good 3-point shooting team. I think you need, 5 or 6 really threats. That year we went to.
I guess Peyton had been in the past. He's struggled this year from outside.
Yeah, I've never called Peyton Seaver a 3-point shooter. I think, just to show you how valuable it is, we really had 6.5 players the year we went to the Final Four in 2005. Otis George never practiced because he was our 7th man with a stress fracture. But we had Taekwon Dean, Francisco Garcia, and Larry O'Bannon, and we could shoot the 3 at the point in the wings. And that was one of the reasons that, and Ellis Miles' toughness inside, one of the reasons why we got to a Final Four. And it's one of the reasons why you lose a close game like the other night. You need to shoot the basketball. The other night, like Peyton went down the lane, and we made a crucial mistake when he went down the lane in that situation. Russ Smith was supposed to get to the left corner, and he didn't get there. He stayed high, and that was a crucial mistake. There were so many mistakes that we made that shooters don't make those mistakes. So, shooting cures a multitude of sins. It really does. If you have shooters on the court, I even had some weak teams early on in Kentucky, but they could shoot. And you could always upset an opponent if you can shoot. So we have to rely on defense and a low post game now. It'll just be for a year, but we have to do it in order to win. And that's what we have. Now, that doesn't mean we can't make threes on a given night. I just don't think that's the strength of this basketball team right now.
After the Vanderbilt game, you said Peyton Seaver needs to play a little bit more like Mo Cheeks. Has he gravitated towards that at all recently?
He didn't play well the other night, but, I've got a lot of confidence in Peyton. He made some poor decisions the other night, which he normally doesn't make. But that being said, prior to him getting hurt this summer when we went to the Bahamas and in the fall, he was playing lights out. He was unguardable. And then he had a real serious ankle injury and a concussion on top of it. So he hasn't come back to that stage yet. Now, I see glimpses of him coming back. Not in the last game, but I see it in practice. And I think he'll make that comeback as good as ever. And I think you'll see a much different basketball team when he does come back to that level. But I think he's very close to getting back there to that level. And I don't expect him to make those mistakes again that he made in that last game.
When he gets back, Rick, what will we see? How do you...
I just think he makes great decisions. I don't think you're going to see 5 turnovers in a game. I don't think you're going to. I think his shot he's developing much more confidence. We've been working very hard on it. We've been videoing his shot, showing him where his flaws lie, and I think he's getting more confident. His jumping is coming back right now. So I think he's close to getting back, and I think when he does, we'll be a much better basketball team.
What do you think the strength of this team is right now? Sorry. What do you think the strength of this team is right now? You said that it's like a 3-point shooting.
I don't think this team has any glaring weaknesses. I don't think this team has any overpowering strengths. I think this team is a solid basketball team. I think their attitude is terrific. I think they're going to get better because Shane's getting better, Gorky's getting better, Peyton's getting better. They're going to improve. But in the interim, not only have we lost, as you look at the standings, not only have we lost 2 home games, but we've said in the beginning of the year that we had to win those home games because of the death march we have on the road in this conference. And we have really, really a difficult schedule on the road. And the toughest places in the conference to play, like Syracuse, like Pittsburgh, like West Virginia, like Cincinnati, Marquette, now Seton Hall. I mean, it's incredible what we have to to be successful. But the good thing about those links is they're going to be all high-powered teams. Great for your RPI to beat those basketball teams. And playing Syracuse twice is great. You know, we'll have that opportunity to play the #1 ranked team in the country twice.
What does it take mentally to be a good, tough road team?
We have to be a great defensive team. You have to get stops. In crucial situations, you have to get stops. You have to shoot free throws well. You know, it's because you're going to go to the line. The games are all going to be close, so you got to be solid on defense. You have to make your free throws. And one thing that shot us in the foot against Georgetown is we turned the ball over 18 times. You can't turn the ball over. You know, I told you early in the season the 3 factors that the guy did the study on in getting to the Final Four is field goal defense, assist turnover ratio, and rebound margin. He found that those are the 3 common denominators of teams getting to a Final Four. And I didn't know going into it. He did the study.
You mentioned after the game that maybe Chris Smith has lost a little bit of confidence. What is it going to take to kind of get him back? I think the 5 games he's gone without double figures is the longest he's gone since he's been.
I think the defense is taking away his game, and he's got to learn to do other things. You know, Chris is a solid basketball player. You know, he's solid, and he's not going to give you things that he can't do. And I think the defense is playing him, taking away certain of his strengths. And what he has to do is learn to do other things on the court that don't show up necessarily in a box score. And we've got to get Kevin Ware, we've got to get comfortable playing him a little bit more. Because Kevin can do certain things that some of our other players don't do.
Do you feel like when Ware gets totally up to speed, would you guys be more pressing more in the totality of the game?
I don't think we can press any more than we're pressing, because outside we usually wait for the first time out, and then we come for 36 minutes. So I don't think we can press any more. I think what has slowed our press down. Our press has been very good this year. What slowed our press down is low field goal percentage more than anything else. But Kevin's a good defensive player. I'm surprised he's not doing more things defensively than he's doing. You know, he goes in there, I think he's just a little tentative because he's coming midway through the year. But he's a very good defensive player with good anticipation skills.
You mentioned free throws. Is there any, I'm sure there's no magic button push to make guys better free throw shooters, but what do you
Well, 2 of Peyton's free throws were on the money, in and out. When I left his hands, I thought they were both good. I thought Kyle's 3rd one was good. It was in and out. Rocks were not good. He shot 2 that were not good. So I think we're an average free throw shooting team. I don't think we're a bad free throw shooting team. I think we're an average shooting team, and we're going to have to make them in the clutch, certainly.
Can you get better at that, or guys just what they are?
Well, we spend as much time as you could possibly spend on free throws. We do. We spend an inordinate amount of time on free throws. And yes, you can get it. It is repetition. Certainly when you have guys like Luke Hancock, who are career, 85% free throw shooters, he's been great since high school. He's got guys like that really help your lineup when they're added to it. And he's been great for us in practice, by the way. He helps us get ready for opponents. When you have that type of basketball player sitting out, it really helps your basketball team in preparing. Like, he's always the best player on the other team.
You've worked with this guy for 4 years. You know him better than anybody. A lot of the talk sports shows lately have been picking on Kyle Keurig. They want more, they want more, they want more. Are they asking too much?
You're quoting sports talk shows?
Yes.
Now, Bob,
After 90 years, I ought to know better.
You're a young, spry individual, man about town, and that's what your life has come to. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, I mean, when I first came here, you were in every nightclub in town, and you were seen on all the gossip columns as a man about town, and now you're sitting at home listening to talk radio.
It's come to that.
Yeah. Bob, I think we need to have a little talk. Go up to my office anytime we need to talk a little bit. And I seriously mean this. Anybody who I think listens to a talk show for advice, for anything intelligent-wise, really should read a book and take a glass of wine and just go to bed. Because if that's how you gain your knowledge, you're in trouble.
Actually, I was inferring that they were wrong.
So you're one of those Vinny from Bay Ridge, as they call it. I think Kyle Keurig gets the most out of everything he has. I mean, I'd like to see him do more myself, and we're putting in some more things to help him score more, certainly. But that being said, Kyle Keurig came here as a walk-on.
Yeah.
He is now a premier player here at the University of Louisville, and he gets the most out of his abilities. He probably gets more out of his talent than any player I've coached here at Louisville. He's probably the classic overachiever that I've had in the 10 years here. So you're right, when you get on with Vinny from Bensonhurst and Bay Ridge, you're right, okay? Or Clem from Western Kentucky, or whoever it may be, okay? So you're right. When you sit on that phone tonight and answer those people back, you're 100% correct. He's getting the most out of his abilities.
It's a little off topic, but Kyle is a guy who wouldn't say boo to anybody his first year. He doesn't talk very much. For him to have found a charity that collected 2,000, 3,000 toys for kids, how does he go from not talking to...
Well, I think he's improved dramatically with every facet of his life. You know, and that's what college is all about. College is about maturing individuals into well-rounded citizens, well-rounded basketball players, well-rounded students, and that's what college is all about. That's the benefits of staying 4 years. You go from a shy individual to a confident person, and he is right now, and certainly he's getting the most out of everything he does. He competes. He does have his limitations as a basketball player, but like I said, he gets the most out of what he is, and we're excited. For 4 years, we've been excited to have him in our program, and very special young man. Very excited about it. So we take off to Friarland, and we know it's be a tough ball game. They beat us last year, and they're playing extremely hard. They're playing well. They've lost in the second half of some ball games, but they're a team capable of beating anybody in a given night. And that's the thing about our conference that wasn't the case last year. Last year, maybe the last 2 years, may have been a little better, which remains to be seen if I'm right or not. The top third may have been a little better the last 2 or 3 years. But the bottom third, there is no bottom third anymore. At least, I hope not, because we're in the bottom third. I hope it's a lot better. Any other questions?